Okay, I'm going to take you on a quick walkthrough of the Tangerine unit for 7th grade. And this unit would correlate with Unit 5 more than a game in the textbook. And the essential question, how does sports bring together friends, families, and communities right there. Okay, so this suggested duration is 10 to 15 days. Now this is really pushing it where kids are they're going to have to read outside of class. Now Tangerine is a longer novel, so you are going to want to have the kids read some at home. So day one, we have our anchor text Tangerine, and day one we only cover 1 through 4 because this is really where you set your expectations on how you plan for the students to go through this unit. Now this unit uses the signposts and the big questions, so make sure you've already taught all of the signposts. So to begin with, even before you begin with your jigsaw and the Newsella articles to build background information, I would go ahead and set up your reading response journal. And so you would go down here to the assessment, formative, and summative and click on reading response. And it's going to look like this. So Tangerine reading response journal. So this is just kind of a sample question and answer of how you would want the kids to answer. Now this is teacher preference on how you would like for your kids to answer these questions. So every time you see a line here, that means that the students would cut. In Tangerine, there are no chapters, it's dates. So this is a suggested sequence. These questions are covered in these dates. So all of these lines are a place for them to cut out. And on the next video, I'm going to show you what this would look like in the reading response journal. Okay, so back to the unit. The other part of the reading response journal is that the students should look for signposts. So you would find that here. And again, here's where the students are looking for signposts on their own as they're reading. And you'll see that these signposts correlate with the numbers on the reading response journal. Okay, so this one would go from pages 7 to 33. This one would go from pages 33 to 61. And I'm going to show you what it looks like in a reading response journal. The next thing in the unit is it goes day by day, and it tells you for your bell ringer, an option is to discuss the reading response and signposts from the previous day's reading that I just showed you. And they can do this with a partner. So here's a guide to help them know how to talk with a partner about their signposts and about their questions. So I'll show you where this would go also in a reading response journal. The other thing you can do for a bell ringer if you want to mix it up is there are quotes and questions here, and this is a slides presentation. So it's going to ask you to make a copy. And for this slides presentation, here we go. So you'll see that these are discussion quotes. So you might have this up when the kids come in after they have already read, let's look at this one. After they have already read the introduction, they'll read the quotation. An old familiar feeling came over me like I had forgotten something. What was it? What did I need to remember? And the question that the kids would discuss is, how does this quote help you predict the plot of the novel? And then here's your timer for 2 minutes for them to discuss. So then after they've read the section of the book Monday, August 28th, this is not the date in school, even though this is the date in the actual book. There's a section of the book called Monday, August 28th. So the quote is, Eric Fisher's younger brother, Eclipse Boy, visually impaired and totally incapable of following in his brother's footsteps. The question that the students would discuss is, what does the quote tell you about Paul's internal conflict? Okay, So it's just an option for a quick discussion for the kids. So there are about, let's see, 15 or 14 quotes. And then the last one after you read the novel is discuss the essential question. And this essential question comes from the book. Okay. So the rest of the unit, there are lessons on some of the background information. There's some Newsella articles to bring in some of that nonfiction that we always want to hit on. There is down here, there's a small, like kind of mid project on setting comparison and all the directions for that. And then at the end of the unit, here we go, is their final project. It's a protagonist, antagonist, Picasso, and a character analysis essay. And that's teacher choice. Of course, there's a number of things that you can do. One more thing is throughout the novel, we always want to talk about character qualities. So there is a characterization video here, still characterization video, and then there's handouts. Now I'm going to show you these handouts. So you'll see in the novel unit, it'll say, okay, stop, and now that you've read pages 35, stop and fill out a new characterization form for Paul or for Eric. And so these are just generic, and so the students would then write their character name, write the trait or the quality it's being called quality now in the new text that the character exhibits, and then they would use steel to use their text evidence to show how the character is showing that trait. So these are generic, so they can use it for any character. And in the next video, I would show you how to put all of these things together in a reading response journal or a suggested way, because of course everyone has their own way that they would like to do it.